What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today is Sunday, October 22nd, 2023. We're back for another weekly analysis on USDCAD to see what price did last week and anticipate what price is going to do next week. So, on the hourly time frame, this is what we see that price did last week. Okay, so we see the power of 3 clearly played out right here. So you could see that price accumulated on Monday, manipulated, and then distributed on Wednesday, tapped into this imbalance right here that I will show you in just a minute when we zoom out, and then respected this imbalance and retraced back lower, closing off the week. So Monday we were bearish after this large move right here that was created Thursday of the previous week. This Monday was just a continuation of what happened then, just to rebalance this entire range. Tuesday was indecisive. There was news on Tuesday, so that's why we see this large move right here. So this was a indecisive day right here. Wednesday was a nice distribution day where it swept the liquidity of Tuesday's sell side liquidity just by a hair. If we zoom in, we could see it sweep just by a hair, and then it rallied higher. Where did it draw to? It drew to this imbalance right here, which I will show you in just a minute. And then Thursday was just a distribution of orders, and Friday was the same thing. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame to get a better idea of what's going on. So we see that this large move right here was created pretty much at the beginning of this month of October of 2023, and then it created this range right here for us to trade within, because this was the highest high that was created, and this was the last lowest low that was created. So from this high to this low, we have a range. Okay, and right here we see that there's a large imbalance, a SIBI created right here. If I move this box right here, we see this imbalance right here that was left behind within this large range right here. So when price started consolidating and moving higher after this swing low was created, where is it likely to draw to? Well, if we look to the left, we see that there's this imbalance right here, another imbalance, another imbalance, another imbalance, and one more imbalance right here. So we see there's a lot of imbalance within this range that needs to be rebalanced. Okay, and this is exactly what price did last week. It created this swing low, and then the majority of the time throughout the week it rebalanced all of these imbalances, drawing to this final imbalance right here. So now that price has tapped into it and respected it, we want to see what price wants to do next week. Okay, so if we were to measure this range from the high to the low, we would have this midpoint right here at 36,773. Okay, this is the midpoint right here of this range. So anything above this midpoint is premium, price is expensive, and anything below this midpoint is discount, price is cheaper. So right now price is expensive. Okay, just a thing that I want to talk about is this box right here. I love that TradingView added this middle line. This is completely off topic. I just wanted to talk about this because it just makes life so much easier that now that we have a middle line option, we don't have to actually go back and measure from the high to the low to the high, and draw out our damn midpoint. We have this option right now just to easily take it off or put it on. How cool is that? That's amazing. But anyways, back to the topic. So price tapped into this SIBI on the 4-hour time frame, rejected it, and pulled back into it again, rejected it again. Now after this low was created, it swept this low right here and tapped into this small imbalance right here. Okay, so after it tapped into this imbalance, it pushed higher. So now does it want to run through this fair value gap like this and take out the 4-hour range high, which also rests right below this daily range buy side, which I'll show you in just a second? Or does it want to just sweep this liquidity right here, since we have a strong level of resistance, pull back and continue going lower, take out the 4-hour range lows? That's what we want to wait and see how price reacts next week. Because next week we have a lot of news. Okay, so let's go to the daily time frame real quick just to scroll up. We have, well, let me take you to the weekly time frame so we could work our way down. Okay, so these purple lines are measured with the weekly time frame, or for the weekly time frame. So from this range to this range, and this is our last major swing high and our last major swing low. You know, of course, this is our major swing high right here, but I don't want to measure that just yet because it's going to take a little longer for us to get there. So this high and this low is the ones that I'm interested in for now, because this high swept this buy side and this low swept this sell side. Okay, so it created this range. We're inside of this range right here. And if we were to take our fib, measure from the top to the low, here's the midpoint, we know that we're inside of the premium zone. Price is expensive, but we're still in a range. I want to see price either run through this range or run through this range low right here. So whatever it wants to do, this is what we have on the weekly time frame. Zooming into the daily time frame, we have, here's the weekly range from purple line to purple line, and then we have daily range buy side right here. Why? Because once this swing high was created, it started going low. So it was bearish from March 10th all the way until July 14th. So for a good 126 days, price has been bearish. Now, after this low was created on the weekly range, which of course is the low that swept through all this liquidity as well as this liquidity right here. Now it did respect this imbalance right here, which I could mark out just to have a visual representation. So it did tap into this FVG's midpoint. So you could see how it tapped the midpoint of this fair value gap right to the tick before it started going higher again, reversed and went higher again. Okay, so let me just move that out of the way. We see that it's marked on the chart, but I'm going to delete it just so we can have a cleaner chart. Okay, I like to have clean charts when I'm analyzing. It makes things much easier to see. Okay, so on the daily time frame, we see that once this low was created, it started to shift higher. Okay, shifted in market structure, pulled back into the fair value gap right here, and then continued going higher. Okay, so this little buy side right here has been swept. This buy side's been swept. These relatively equal highs been swept. This buy side's been swept. All of these buy side liquidity that's on the left that has not been swept just yet still has stop orders placed on top of them, which means that price, the markets, and the big institutions want to hunt those and destroy everybody's orders. Just don't take me seriously, but this is exactly what they're doing. So they took out these highs right here. Oops, let me redo that. So they took out all these highs, pulled back into the fair value gap that shifted in market structure, pulled back up. This high right here took this high right here. Has not swept through this buy side yet, pulled back, and I can just anticipate that price is wanting to sweep through these highs here soon, unless price shows me that it's shifting in market structure lower, then my bias is going to change to bearish, targeting the weekly range low right here. So I'm not talking about literally taking an order and targeting all the way down here. I'm talking about we can take shorts with managed risks with the idea knowing that price is drawing towards a weekly range liquidity. If and only if price shows me that it's shifting and market structure lower. So what price could do, is it could sweep through this liquidity, slice through this liquidity right here, just barely, and then shift in market structure, pull back, continue going lower, and then possibly just, rebalance any imbalances within this range, or it could just ultimately take out this low right here. But I'm not looking for shorts on the higher time frames until price shows me that it's shifting in market structure lower. So for now, my sights are aiming at this buy side right here. So that's where I'm anticipating price to go to. So this is what we have on the daily time frame. So going down to the 4-hour time frame, this is our range, 4-hour range high and the range low. We have this fair value gap. It's been retested multiple times. It's been retested once here, then went lower, been retested here, went lower, retested again, went lower. Now this one, if it violates this SIBI, then it could pull back into it and then ultimately take out the 4-hour range high and low, and it could potentially reach to our weekly range high. So these are where I'm aiming my sights, for next week. We have a lot of news, so we got to be very careful with how we trade, because we have a lot of high impact news. So it's important to get an idea of where price is likely to draw to and understand that it could go in either direction. So you have to have an idea of what to look for and what to do if price goes in either direction. So since this 4-hour range high, this daily buy side liquidity, and this weekly range high are my sights right now, this is where I'm aiming right now for next week. I want to see price do something like this, where it violates this SIBI, pulls back into it, and then just completely goes all the way up and sweeps through all this liquidity. Now, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I'm saying this is what I would like to see the market doing. And if it doesn't do that, it could, pull back into this SIBI, respect it again, just treat it as a strong level of resistance, pull back, and then take out the 4-hour range low, and then go all the way down to the weekly range low. Potentially. That's what I could see price doing as well. So it could do both things. But what's important about analyzing is that you get an idea of what to do in either situation. So now that price has swept this liquidity, this swing low right here, tapped into this busy fair value gap right here, and displaced higher. If price were to continue going up, take out these highs. When price pulls back into this fair value gap, treats it as an inverse fair value gap, I can anticipate, or I will start looking for reasons to go long. So I would look for anything that the market gives me to go long. So if this liquidity pool has been ran through and this fair value gap has been violated, then when price pulls back into the discount zone of this fair value gap, which is below this midpoint line right here, then this is where I would go to the lower time frames and hunt for buy opportunities. This is where I would hunt for long opportunities, drawing to target the 4-hour range high or the daily range buy side liquidity. This is my ultimate target right here. And then for next week at least, and then ultimately I would like to see the weekly range high get swept through. So if price were to continue going higher in a bullish order flow, this is what I would like to look for. This is what I would like to see. And on the lower time frames, I would like to take an entry in the discount zone of this inverse if this inverse gets violated, and then just target this buy side right here and potentially leave a runner to target the weekly range high right here. Okay, now this is one scenario that could happen, but since this fair value gap has been acting as a strong level of resistance so far, if price pulls back into it and respects it one more time, even if it sweeps this liquidity, but it respects this fair value gap one more time, it could color outside of the lines with the wicks, but then I want to see a huge displacement lower. Now when I see that huge displacement lower, I want to see price pull back into it and then ultimately continue going lower to look for some sort of entry that looks like this on the lower time frames. Okay, so this is what I'll be looking for if price respects this fair value gap and shows me that it's trying to go lower. All right, but if it violates this fair value gap and it's giving me an indication that it's going higher, then I'm looking for buy positions targeting this daily range high. But I'm leaning more towards the buy side right here than I am for price to go lower, because I just don't think that it's finished going higher yet. Yes, it has this strong level of resistance right here, and if it respects it, then good, we'll go down. But if it disrespects it and violates this tartar sauce, then I'm targeting this daily buy side right here. Okay, the 1 hour time frame, we have a lot of noise, so I like to stick to the higher time frames in order to get an idea or to understand what it is that's going on. And then once price meets my expectations, if it meets my expectations, then I'm looking for positions on the lower time frames. All right, so this is what we had for, hold on, I'll actually show you the Forex Factory. So for Monday, we have nothing. I don't know why. I'm not sure why this is happening, but I don't think it might be a bank holiday for Sunday and Monday. I could be wrong, but Tuesday we have PMI all day. We have PMI and CPI all day. So Tuesday, be careful. We're going to have a lot of movement, but I love when I see red all over the calendar. I love it. This is when, you know, price will do what it wants to do. It displaces and rallies where it wants to go and, you know, do exactly what it wants to do. So I like days like this or weeks like this because price will ultimately make its larger moves. It will accumulate, manipulate, and distribute throughout the week, just like it did last week. So next week, I want to see price do the same thing where it accumulates, manipulates, then distributes higher or lower, whatever it wants to do. But on days like this, you want to be careful because it could ruin you if you're not safe, or you could get lucky and it could, take you to the moon, as they like to call it. But whatever it is that you're doing, just be careful. There's going to be a lot of news on next week, and it's going to be exciting. So Tuesday we have PMI and CPI. Wednesday we have BOCs. And Thursday we have FOMCs. A little bit less noise on Thursday. And Friday we have a little bit less noise as well. So I can anticipate that Tuesday and Wednesday are going to create the high or the low of the week. And then Thursday and Friday are just going to be the third stages of the power of threes, where price is just distributing orders. So we'll just see what happens next week. And I hope you found today helpful. If you have any questions or concerns about the market, about what I said, about what I anticipate price will do, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video, and if you want to join us trading live throughout the week, we have a link to our Discord on this channel. Take a look at it, join the Discord. You're more than welcome to join. And until next time, guys, I will see you next week. Alright, have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.